Okay, so first journal entry talking about dimensions of wellness and the results of my personal assessment. So to start off with, the dimensions of wellness. First, you have the emotional dimension, which is kind of like our feelings of ourselves and our life. Spiritual, that's kind of like the bigger picture or who or what we believe in and hold ourselves accountable to. Intellectual dimension, which is the use and growth of our brains. Social dimension is kind of being a part of a group or getting along with others. The physical dimension, kind of the overall health of our bodies, so nutrition, exercise, drugs, smoking, those kinds of things. Occupational is kind of basically job satisfaction. And then the environmental dimension, which is recognizing and improving the physical world kind of around ourselves. One of the things that I learned from the assessment that kind of surprised me was that my stress control and my emotional wellness were kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum. My stress was in my bottom three, while the emotional one was in my top three. And I kind of feel like they would have been more closer in score, just because I feel like they're closely related, especially for me personally. I know my emotions kind of seem to be more intensified when I feel like I'm getting stressed out. Also, it kind of surprised me that nutrition was my lowest score. I didn't really consider myself to be overall a bad eater, but apparently that's something that I have to relook at again. My three weakest during the assessment, in order from the worst, was nutritional, and then stress control and physical. Lifestyle factors that I think might lead to my weaknesses, my career choice. While I do love my job, it can be very stressful and demanding. Often I have short deadlines, especially when I'm taking care of patients. It can be very demanding. And there's also kind of a pressure to have a lot of increased responsibilities, both at work, taking on extra tasks, and outside of work, going to school, doing community service. So that can be very demanding on my schedule and my stress. Uh, Another thing I kind of think goes with that is some of the other factors kind of bleed in. So in the physical, if I'm not eating well, and if I'm not sleeping well, those definitely seem to affect my stress as well. Three of my strongest dimensions are social wellness, alcohol and other drugs, and emotional wellness. Factors that lead to these strengths, again, my job, for sure. Having a background in medicine as a hospital corpsman, I definitely think that I understand and appreciate medications, taking them properly. Also, the Navy kind of has some policies about alcohol use, drug use, both prescription and less than prescription. So I think that was easy category for me to score A's in. Also, the Navy has increased my awareness of working with all different kinds of people from all different kinds of backgrounds, tolerance of others, and then making friends. I think another big strength for me is my husband. He's a great friend, an awesome motivator, and a way better cook, for sure. He definitely kind of keeps us more on track nutritionally when he's here. Things that I've learned about wellness, one of the biggest things that I really kind of struck me is that it's way bigger palette than I had initially expected. There are so many factors that kind of play into overall wellness, and as I was reading through the assessment and the questions, it made sense, but it wasn't initially something that I had thought about. Things that I kind of decided to work on. I decided to kind of reflect more on my nutrition in that kind of that physical realm, make some smaller gradual changes, and I was able to do a couple of those this week. I tried out the trick in the post some of our classmates posted earlier with the fiber plus protein minus sugar for some snacks. I grabbed a bowl so I wasn't binge eating. I added some vegetables probably two more times this week than I normally would have. So I think some of those changes were easy, and now it's about staying in that maintenance phase. The worst thing, and I know as a medical person, and again reading the text, I am a smoker, and I understand how bad this is. But I definitely, I'm strong in the contemplation stage there, not quite ready.